Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video I'm going to be going over the upcoming events and tournaments, what you could expect in these tournaments, what you should try and aim to do in these tournaments as well, the cards that are going to be in the rewards for these tournaments, as well as anything else to keep your eye on in the week ahead in RTS. So first of all, we'll go over the calendar, and as you can see, this is the opening week of November. And at the top, we do have the Battle Pass continuing. The new missions are going to drop on the Monday. I will go over these on my live stream as always. It's a lot of fun when they drop. So if you want to tune into my live stream tomorrow, make sure you turn on notifications to be alerted when my live stream starts. This does of course mean you have to finish the current week's weekly Battle Pass missions before the reset on Monday. So make sure you get on that if you haven't already. Now, as you can see, the top event is Haunted Skirmish, and it goes on till the 11th of November. So we're going to have the 3 extra days early next week just to finish off the last bits of Haunted Skirmish. So if you do still need some jack-o'-lanterns to get yourself a nick or get as much opens in the stash as you want, these are probably going to be the last week of tournaments to get those. The ones early next week, you can maybe expect a level up tournament, maybe to give some rewards, but after that, most likely nothing else. Road to Torment, of course, continues. It did start late last week, and I think a lot of people were fairly happy with how the reward structure has turned out. The fact that the main collection item, the Lucille's, the broken Lucille's, are actually the same for every single rank is of course great. It is a little disappointing that the bandages are different on each rank. I wouldn't mind the bags, because you do get bags in these rewards as well, but it just doesn't show the reward because I think it can only show the top 3 rewards. The bag being different for the ranks, and they could even split up the ranks even more to do that, would be fine. But I think the bandages being the same would probably be better for most people. And if we go into the one with the cigar cutters, same sort of situation. If we go back to the poll I did about the faction assault rewards and how they should be split, 90% in the end did say that they should be evenly shared, so they should be the same for everyone. I did have over 700 votes on that poll, pretty basic poll just there, but it was pretty unanimous on that poll. And since the event has come out, I'm seeing the comments on the Discord of the official Discord, my own Discord, comments on my live streams and videos where people are saying they still should be exactly the same. So hopefully if we do see a faction assault event in the future again, the rewards that are part of events will just be 100% the same. If you want people to compete, make them compete for like side things like gear and stuff like that, things that are perishables, not things that are part of events in my opinion. However, you can check my full breakdown of the Road to Torment event in my video that I made about it if you want to go and take a look. Another event that started late last week was Trails of Horrors, and I think a lot of people have run into issues with this event and basically found it really difficult from what I'm understanding. Trails of Horrors is an old school event where you have to use 5-star or below characters on some extremely difficult roadmaps. The main difficulty is the fact that you're coming up against characters with extremely fast rushes, and they're rushing before attack teams a lot of the time. This was one of the main reasons we moved away from the 5-star era, just because teams were rushing too quickly on defense versus attack teams. We are starting to get into that a little bit in the S-class era, but I'll leave that one to another video. Now, if you did fail a stage, you'll realize you can't actually continue because they don't give you extra energy. You'll have to buy one of these 250 coin bags right here to get the energy you want to continue doing the stages of. If you started the Claw Glove roadmap and you failed one of the stages, you could buy this bag and continue. Now, one of the things you could also do is if you manage to complete one of the roadmaps fully, you could buy the bag of the other type of energy that you didn't claim in the first place for 250 coins and potentially get all of the rewards there. It's up to you. However, if you did fail a stage at that point, I'm unsure if they will sell the bag once more. It is also worth mentioning with Trails of Horrors that the event actually does end on the 8th, the Sunday, so this is the last week we're going to have Trails of Horrors in the game. If you do want to pick up those extra bags, now is the time to do it. Now we do have the end of an event coming. It is Hunter's Prey. As you can see, it ends on Tuesday. Hunter's Prey was the one where you had to do the roadmap to get the crates and potentially get the dead rabbits and the dead snakes to hand in for rewards. You do get an extra 24 hours until the Wednesday to hand in your dead rattlesnakes for rewards in the grey market. So I would head on over and claim what you want to claim there. I did primarily go for armory tokens. I don't think I actually claimed anything else. I think maybe I claimed the choice box for the can on my other region, just because I had 35 on that region for some reason, and on this region I only have 34 left over. So I think it was due to the fact that I did manage to get my hands on the crate with the dead rabbits. And those two collections do also last for another 3 days until the Wednesday, just like the grey market hand-ins. So if you do have the dead rabbits and the dead rattlesnakes to hand in, you can get yourself 12 bennies, or you can go for the upgraded crate, where you can get yourself a S-Class choice box for a little bit more on the requirements, heavy on the dead rabbits. That's obviously the RNG element, but you do get quite a lot of S-Class cards, so definitely pick up what you can while you can. And this is when we move on to the big event, effectively, Break a Bone. We have seen the announcement. We have not seen full information just yet on what he's going to be like, but the Break a Bone event is going to have S-Class Jesus as the reward. We do know that the S-Class Jesus pistol is already in the game, and when that initially happened and dropped in the game, I was on my live stream. A lot of people were just freaking out at how good the weapon actually was. Then we saw that it was actually his weapon, and basically myself and everyone just jumps to the conclusion instantly that we're going to get an Alert Jesus, and it does look like it's going to be the case. He is holding the pistol in the picture right here, so it's an extremely likely case that it's going to be an Alert Jesus. If we do look at his pistol in game, you can see it's extremely defensive as well. Extremely powerful weapon. Is it going to make sense going in his hands? That's the question. There have been some weapons that have come out in the past. For instance, Jason's weapon didn't make any sense for him. So we'll see if this weapon actually makes any sense for Jesus. And if it does, you can expect him to be more of a defense team character and be pretty tanky by the looks of things. Now, I'll leave a link to the Break a Bone breakdown video. I would definitely go and check that out because there's a lot you've got to do in that event. It is a 4-week event. It's basically like all the other multi-week events we've had. It does seem like a bit more of a harder one than we've had in recent times. It's a bit easier than Brutus by the looks of things, because they've laid it out quite well this time around. I have to say well done to Scopely for laying out a bit better this time around. But it does mean that when the events are generally a bit more difficult, you've got a better chance of the character that's being involved in the event actually being pretty good. There are lots of missions involved in this event. Some of them do require you doing pulls on the S-Class wheel, so you'll have to gather up your coins, but it doesn't look like too much of a big deal. It looks like if you save yourself 500 coins over the entire event, you'll be able to get all the mission rewards, but it might be worth just not actually completing the missions where you are required to spend coins and spending those coins on bags for the items themselves. It'll be more clear once the event actually drops. Now on to the tournaments. We have got 2 solo level ups, then a faction level up. As usual, we do have the 3 level ups a week, but it's going to be a faction level up at the end of the week. The tournament rewards this time around is going to be Davey as the everyone reward, and the top placements have a choice crate with Michonne in there as well. So you will be able to get the jack-o'-lanterns as well from the milestones, and that's going to help your progress towards Nick and the Halloween stash. And lastly, we have got the 3 themed events this week, and it is going to be a raid, SR, and onslaught. Now, these are the last chances you have of getting skulls if you do want to get the Grim Axe. The faction harvest raid also coincides with the Break a Bone event, and the second day of the faction harvest raid does align with some faction missions that you have to do 720 raids as a faction. So as your faction, you might want to inform your guys to hold off on doing your cans until the second day so that it does count towards the Break a Bone event. Otherwise, you're going to have to use a lot of natural energy or cans outside of milestones, and a lot of people might not enjoy that so much. So my tip there would just be to hold off on day 1 of Faction Harvest Raid and go all in on the second day. The SR tournament is going to be quite a lot like the previous SR tournaments we've been having as well. It will be a faction event, but we will have 60 stages, I believe, which I will be honest, it's been a really good change from Scopely. I think that has made the SR a bit more enjoyable, a bit more just faster to get through, get to the stage where I'm just doing the same thing over and over again and farming, rather than having to adjust my teams every time. It is pretty much autofill at the moment for me, but if it wasn't, the 100+ stages that it was before would just be really frustrating to have to deal with. 60 stages, much more enjoyable. Hopefully that's going to be something that's going to be a permanent addition to the game. And lastly, we have Creepy Onslaught, the second of the last events for the skulls, and we did have some really good drop rates in the last Onslaught, so I hope that does continue. However, the one change that they did in Onslaught that I don't think worked very well was reducing the battle time from 30 minutes to 20 minutes and not making any adjustments anywhere else. Basically because it did seem that you had more downtime than you did in fights. I did do some calculations and I did submit this to Scopely as well, where it did seem for 20 minutes of fighting, you had 23 minutes plus of waiting for the fight to start again. In those 20 minutes of fighting, you only did do 4 attacks, which generally will take you like 5 to 10 minutes max. So 10 minutes of that 20 minutes fighting is going to be waiting as well. So for every 10 minutes fighting, you've got half an hour of waiting around. I did submit this to Scopely. I've got no idea if they're going to make any changes based on this information. I would say doing something like reducing the encounter will start time down to 5 minutes would be a great start. Or if both teams are fully destroyed, where everyone's been taken out, the onslaught should just end. Why does it continue for another 10 minutes at that point? I have no idea. But time will tell if there's going to be any changes to that last creepy onslaught. Hopefully they make some adjustments just to make it a bit of a better experience. And just to say again, guys, that is the very last chance you have of getting the skulls. And that, of course, means your last chance to get any of the rewards in here in the grey market. As you can see, if you do want to pick up that Grimax, you need to get 70,000. But it would definitely be worth picking up the blowtorches just to speed up your crafting time. I've already picked up a couple, just because I do like to do some blowtorch crafts on stream, just for fun. So that's it this week, guys. That's it for the week ahead in RTS. The events, the tournaments, and the cards you've got your chance of getting your hands on. Is there any particular character out of those 2 cards that you want to get? Do let me know in the comments down below. But that is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.